When I didn't ask, you keep bringing up my past, always play the same old song. Tired of buying all your lies, acting like I am alright. So I hope you like the last time, cause that will be the final time I wear my painted smile and sing along. Yesterday's where you belong. Ready, ready to put you behind. Ready, ready to go. Ready, ready to show you the
checkoffs were, and how and why I haven't been, doing the whole video thing, as I've promised previously. Okay. First, so much stuff has been happening. Okay, first, I want to tell you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be talking about how last semester ended, how finals were, how final checkoffs were, and how and why I haven't been, doing the whole video thing, as I've promised previously. Okay, first of all, last semester was horrific for me. I mean, okay, overall it didn't affect me. Okay, it did affect me, but not as terribly as I thought it may have, But I kind of fell off towards the middle-ish, end-ish of the semester. Only because I'm thinking because I went to summer school and I was kind of burnt out, and we only had I think maybe 3 weeks off. I mean, that's no excuse, but I mean, I'm just saying that's what happened. So around time for finals, I mean, I was going to class and I was very sleep deprived, obviously, and I was just, I don't know, I just wasn't, it just wasn't in me to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, like that made sense, right? Anyways, so with finals, the final ended up being really easier than the test, which kind of makes sense because it is comprehensive. And I mean, in the world of education, they teach you that you shouldn't do what's the word? Comprehensive exams, meaning what you learn from, the first day in your class to the last day in your class, and have a test on it. So I ended up getting an A in my Spanish for nursing class, and a D in both my pharmacology and nursing process class, which I was like, oh my god. I kind of knew I wasn't going to do that well in process because it was more conceptual, and I wasn't reading the stuff. I was reading more of a skim type thing, read the important stuff, don't read all the charts in the book and stuff, and you have to read that for that class. While for pharmacology, I had a B, so I'm thinking, I might get a C, but whatever. So what ends up happening is the night before our last exam before the final, she decided to change the whole test up. And we basically, all of the highest grade was a 70 in the class. You do the math. There were probably maybe 100 or so of us, probably more than 100, but a little bit more than 100, but about 100 people in the class. Of course, some of them dropped after, before the deadline, before that test, but so I basically ended up getting a D out of that class too because of that test and the final. Oh my god, it was terrible. It was so horrible. But a lot of people ended up either not passing both or not passing pharmacology because the last exam, and the fluid and electrolyte exam messed over a lot of people in process. But anyways, that's irrelevant. So I was kind of, maybe I was a little depressed. I was like, man, I can't believe this. I'm about to have 2 Ds. I got 3.5 GPA. My GPA is going to go down. It's going to be like a 1.9 barely or something. But I guess I had enough cushion because my GPA was 3.5. So I went down to a 3.2, which, I mean, I'm kind of disappointed that it went down, but I mean, hey, what can I do? I'm just going to retake the courses because I will be a nurse. And hopefully I don't fail anymore. Anyways, on to the next. So my birthday is December 9th. I finished taking finals on December, let me look at the calendar. I finished with my finals, I want to say maybe like 2 or 3 days before my birthday or something like that. I finished taking finals on December 7th. No, December 6th. No, December 7th. Because we had pharmacology the day after process. No, process the day after pharm. Anyways, that's irrelevant. So my birthday's on the 9th. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go, party, have fun. Like I'm not the whole going out type. So yeah, I'm just going to, probably go eat out with friends and then just have like game night or something. Well, we end up having to move because the person we were living with, like, it just wasn't working out. So I was helping my mom move, and we end up, she has an SUV, a Mountaineer, and I drove that. She drove the U-Haul, her and her, whatever. And his brother drove his car, and his stepdad drove his truck, and like everybody was helping out bringing the stuff. Well, what ends up happening is they put mattresses on top of my mom's car, and I'm driving it, of course. And they put, no, not mattresses, they put the box springs on there, and they put some tables, like foldable tables. Well, I was like, like, let me be helpful, whatever. So we park, open the doors to the new place, and what ends up happening is they park the car next to the truck, which is, not the truck, the SUV, which is what I'm driving. And, it's relatively close. Like, if somebody would have tried to get out, they probably wouldn't have gotten out. So I'm walking in between the cars, and I'm like, you can give me something like a box spring, and, me and my sister can carry that. Because, I mean, the box spring is the lightest thing on the freaking bed. Sometimes lighter than the bed frame. Anyways, so he's trying to get the box spring down for me, and I'm on the side of the car, and he's on the back of the car pulling it, like, to the side. Well, unbeknownst to him, the tables are falling, but he doesn't realize it, and it's about to, like, fall and hit the glass or whatever, or the side of the car, somewhere in that area. So I'm like, oh Lord, let me try to, like, prevent it, like push it away or something. Well, what ends up happening is I move my head so it doesn't hit me in my head, because it's like right here, and I move my head, and I don't know, it's like I almost was caught in a trance, like just watching it. Like, I just remember looking down at my foot and the table just going pow. So it ends up happening, like, I start hopping around. I was like, I'm so done. And I go sit in the car, take my sock off. I see blood. I start freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, it broke the skin. It broke the freaking skin. So my mom comes to look at it. She was like, oh Lord, my baby, my poor baby. So her boyfriend comes to look at it or whatever, and he says something or whatever, and I looked at my foot again. I just broke down in tears, like I was just streaming down my face. So I'm like freaking out. So my mom was like, stop crying. So she's like, oh Lord, her nerve is bad. She was like, I gotta go bring my baby to the emergency room. So she was like, Lord, you ain't got no insurance, girl, right now. Oh Lord, what we gonna do? Just freaking out. So like next thing about now, I'm laughing, but then it was not funny. But with the school that I go to, I'm basically insured, like, for the emergency room and things like that. Well, what ends up happening is I tell my mom, I'm like, like, it's my left foot. Like, I'm not really, what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really thinking about it. Like, whatever. while I drive myself to the emergency room with my aunt, because my mom thinks that they might give me something like that may, put me, like, make me tired. So she sends my aunt with me. So I drive myself to the emergency room, and I'm just walking around, walking around, walking around. Oh, by the way, my mom made me try to move my toe, and she was like, "Yeah, it's probably broken." And that's another part where I just started freaking out. I'm freaking out for like 45 minutes before I go to the emergency room. Well, I get there, walking around. The expert technician makes me get in a wheelchair and go to the thing. I'm like, I could walk. It might take me a little longer than normal, but I could walk. So I did get an X-ray, and I'm waiting in the actual, the room they put you in. I can't think of the word, but anyways, the exam room. That's it, examination room that they put you in for, like, per patient. Excuse me. So I'm in there, and I'm like, oh Lord, like, I don't know what's going on. So a scriber, I think you call yourself a scribe, a transcriber, something like that, for the